I've seen that road before.
Okay, try this one on for size. Talking about the tactics of the left and whether they are honorable or dishonorable. It's always amazing when you catch someone in a dishonorable act, when you catch somebody stealing from the public trough, or you catch a movement bending the rules, they never want to engage you. They never want to admit anything. They just ignore it and hope it goes away. And you know what? It usually does. The body politic has short memories. So this daycare, personal home health care unionization movement will go on unabated. And the SEIU and AFSCME will continue to steal from their members and steal from the American public. Government, anybody associated with getting a government check should never be allowed to unionize, least of all independent contractors who are actually forming a cartel, not a union. It is so patently obvious, it boggles the mind that anybody with a straight face or who isn't totally insane, which rules out a number of prominent Democrats I can think of, would propose this nonsense. Well, I got another one for you. You think that's good? Now, you heard my example. You, Dennis, and you and a bunch of your buddies want to help out a guy. You buy him a house for $100,000 on the assumption that you're all going to throw in $5,000, $10,000, depending on whether there's 10 or 20 of you financing the loan, and he's going to pay you back market interest rates. But he finds out one day, because of the bubble, that his house is only worth $75,000, not $100,000. So he's on the hook for $100,000, but his asset has declined. So he's actually underwater. But he's still current on the loan. He's still paying you back with interest, but he doesn't want to. I don't want to give you $100,000 when 5 years down the road I could sell this house for only $75,000. I don't think I will. Now, imagine. He signed a piece of paper. You helped him by giving him credit. And he now just reneges on the paper. He said, I'm not going to pay you back. I'm just not going to do it. What would you think of an individual like that? I would call him a deadbeat. Today we call them victims. No doubt you engaged in predatory lending. You loaned him money for a house that you should have known was overvalued. And so therefore you have a duty, fiduciary duty, legal and otherwise, to write off $25,000 of your hard-earned money that you'll never get back. I think a lot of people would say, in that scenario, that guy is really a bum. Well, guess what? It's happening all the time. It happens all the time. It happened in Detroit when the unions told the creditors and the Obama administration rewrote bankruptcy law so that people that loaned money to Chrysler, thinking they would be first in line to get it back should there be a liquidation, were told to take 2 cents on the dollar, and the union got the rest. There was a contract. There was a piece of paper. I loan you this money. You agree to pay it back, and now you're walking away. That makes you a liar and a cheat. Someone who's no good on their word. Someone who does not live up to the obligations of their contracts. Does not live up to their word. It's getting worse. Get this. There's a band of left-wingers out in San Francisco, where else, called the Mortgage Resolution Partners business. And they're a firm that, of course, for a fee, wants to get the government to condemn homes using eminent domain of someone who's underwater in their mortgage. They bought the house for $250, it's worth $200. Now, they're current on their loan. They haven't missed a payment. But here's what their plan is. And they're starting to get some traction. The city council in North Las Vegas, Nevada, is now exploring the use of eminent domain to seize mortgages and tell the investors to go take a hike and then give the house back to the borrower for lower money, for a lower amount. I'm not making this up. This is theft. This is legalized plunder. Here's how it would work. Poor victim Joe Blow, who bought a house at the top of the market, like me, but has now suffered a loss in the value of his home, would hire the government. Well, wouldn't even hire the government. Would hire this band of shall we say, people without any ethical compass. Mortgage Resolution Partners would hire these people And they, for a fee, would get the government to condemn the house. And when the government condemns the piece of property, they take it over. Now, they take it over for, constitutionally, as you know, fair market value. Well, I've gone through eminent domain. Let me clue you in on something. The government never pays fair market value. They rip you off because they have the power of force. So if for public purpose, if they want to build an armory, if they want to build a highway, the government can condemn your house, condemn your business, and then it usually winds up in court, and they're supposed to pay you fair market value for that business. Now, they don't. I've gone through this. They take the lowest bid. They take the lowest valuation. They don't actually compensate you for the assets they've taken. They just say, well, in this market, we think the assets are worth this or this. But it must be for a public purpose, and they must pay you fair market value. This scheme, this outrageous scheme to get deadbeats out from under their personal obligations goes like this. The government would come in, and they would condemn a house that's underwater, a debtor that's underwater, right? And they would acquire the mortgages through the condemnation. So the government now acquires the mortgages from investors. So the government takes over the home, and now the government owes the investor. You who loaned the guy $100,000. But the government says, well, we're only going to pay you fair market value for this property that we have now condemned and taken over. So the investors that loan the guy, in my example, $100,000, the government condemns the house and pay him $75,000 because we're only going to pay you fair market value, which means Dennis and his buddies, trying to do a good thing by loaning money, take a massive haircut. They lose 25% of their investment. Then the government would resell the mortgages to new investors. So now the government's paid you off for $75,000, and they would go to another FHA, and they would find somebody else to loan this guy who stays in the house the $75,000 with MRP collecting a fee, this Mortgage Resolution Partners. This is thief. This is theft, I mean. This is a bald-faced attempt to rip somebody off that loan money. Now, in the economic parlance of the day, it could be Fannie, Freddie, it could be Ginnie Mae. It doesn't matter what it is. When people go out and take out mortgages, they resell the mortgages to investors like you and me. What they're telling us now is we're going to take a massive haircut through eminent domain. The government's going to condemn the property that I have a stake in, then not pay me back what it's worth, and then let the person stay in there on a new loan doing the same thing over and over again.
He portrays himself and tries to call himself Mr. Right. Mr. Right.
We got a strong team. Jason Lewis, ready to contribute, ready to fight for what's best for this country. Jason Lewis. Thank you and God bless you. Jason Lewis. He rode a blazing saddle. He wore a shining star. His job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned dark night into day. He made his blazing saddle a torch to light the way.
Man, oh man, a jam-packed program tonight. Coming up next hour, the Cato Institute's Doug Bando will stop by to tell us why it's folly to intervene in Syria. George Will said the same thing in his column in the Washington Post. Now Doug Bando is chiming in. I couldn't agree more. I don't know what we're doing getting involved in another foreign civil war, but here we go. So he will stop by next hour. In the meantime, I want to also get to the Miami Heat wins their second NBA championship in a row. And a lot of people say that NCAA basketball is the minor leagues for the NBA. So why aren't college athletes paid? Believe it or not, there's a lawsuit that is set to go class action, which could turn the world of college sports upside down. We'll get to that as well before Doug stops by next hour to talk about Syria. In the meantime, daycare unions eminent domain to seize loans. Think of the eminent domain issue I spoke of a moment ago as the government seizing a loan and then refusing to pay off the creditor. So I take out a loan from you. The government comes in and seizes my loan. And then they tell me, because they're the government, the creditor, oh, by the way, we're not paying you off. And then, or at least we're not paying you off the full amount. Then they turn around and let the person they seized the loan from go back in business. This is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard. It's so transparently wrong. So I go to a bank, I get a loan to buy a house, right? The bank then sells that mortgage to 1 million people who buy Fannie or Freddie Mae stock. And now those investors, doesn't matter whether it's 1 million people or one, whoever is the creditor and owns the loan and is now getting the interest payments, then the government comes in under this scheme and seizes the house of the debtor, the person who took out the loan. And then they take, well, we own the loan now, or we own the house now. And by the way, since we've seized the home under eminent domain, we only pay the people who own the house. Now remember, the person in the house does not own the house. That's why you don't get title to a car until you pay it off. You're not the owner. And until you've paid off your mortgage, the investor owns the house. So really what the government is coming in and doing is seizing an asset. So they would seize an asset, and they would pay you only... I'm trying to think of something analogous to express my outrage, because I know many of you are going, I don't get this, Jason, because you're not that steeped in finance. It's not really that complicated. But let's say that you buy... I'll give you a good example of how this is working out. You buy a valuable piece of art, right? And you buy it for $1,000, $10,000, right? The government wants that art, but they can't just take it from you. So they wait till the value of the artwork goes down to $7,500. Then they seize it and pay you the $7,500. They got the piece of artwork for $7,500. Now, 5 years from now, it could be $20,000. They're seizing an asset at the bottom and paying it off, and effectively doing a short sale against your will. And the irony of all of this is, the people who would come out smelling like a rose, of course, would be the person in the house who now has their mortgage arbitrarily... This is like the mortgage modification plans. Basically holding up lenders, telling people, you will write down part of the loan, or we'll do it for you. But here's the deal. The person in the house is not behind on payments. They're just underwater. They owe more than the house is worth, but they're not behind. So they have the ability to make the payments and keep their word. The government and mortgage resolution partners just don't want to. If this isn't symptomatic of the immorality that is so much a part of modern-day America right now, the financial immorality, the redistribution of wealth, the government has legal plunder, that's where we are right now. Austin in Michigan, listening online on the Jason Lewis Show. Hi, welcome to the program. Austin, are you there? Going once? Austin, are you there, sir? Austin is not. That's too bad, because in Michigan they had this daycare union and they reversed it. It would have been interesting to hear that take. My old buddy Lib in South Carolina, standing by. It's Friday. You've got to have that cold, cool drink standing by and listening to the program, I presume.
My toast to you, baby.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
All right, I want to tell you about what's happening in Chester County, South Carolina. It's the eminent domain.
Yeah.
All right, good example of how you can steal land. The government can steal land. All right, Chester County Council has been paying a landowner $1 a year for years to use a piece of land downtown. Okay, all of a sudden Taco Bell wants to come to Chester County and buy that lot, okay, from the owner, okay? Right. So then what does Chester Counny do? The county council has a meeting and they vote to take make it in the eminent domain.
Right. To condemn the land so they can sell it to Taco Bell.
Yes. So, I mean, this thing, all you said about eminent domain, I've known about for years. But, when it comes home to your downtown, your county council, I mean, that's crooked. The founders thought it serious enough to put in the Constitution called the Takings Clause, that private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. Now, I bet I know what they did. They said, well, we're paying you $1 a year, so therefore the land isn't worth very much, and they ripped that guy off. Do you know how much Taco Bell is willing to pay for it?
Exactly, right.
About $400,000.
Let me tell you something. When the government, I went through this with my family business, and they came to us and said, we're going to pay you, we're going to build a freeway through your business. We're going to pay you what we think it would cost to build a similar building elsewhere. And I said, and my family said, no, you don't get it. I don't care whether we've got gold chandeliers. You're paying us the value of the assets within the. They said, no. We think a different structure is suitable enough, and they ripped us off. Well,
a government shouldn't have that power. It should not have that power. If they've been paying $1 a year for all these years to the person that owned the land, and now that the person that owns the land has a good amount of money that they want to pay to put a Taco Bell there, and so what does the county do? To take it to the eminent domain,
It's a ripoff. It is a total ripoff, dear. And a lot of people feel as you do. A lot of people feel that the power of eminent domain probably shouldn't be in the Constitution. And by the way, if the government buys that land or condemns that land for Taco Bell, that's not using the land for a public purpose. It's using it for a private gain. The government's in that case. And in the name of blight, what the government will do constantly is condemn homes and then sell the property to a private real estate developer for private gain. Eminent domain is abused right and left in this country. That's why we had, the Great Revolution when you had that deal in Connecticut. For a while, a number of states put clauses in there, but they've been watered down. What was the name of that Supreme Court case where the federal government allowed private property to be taken for private use? A lot of people think, you know what? If I don't want to sell my land to you or the government, you raise the price until I do want to sell it. The taxpayer should have to pay the full price.
It's a Beatle Bumper Friday on the Jason Lewis Show.
I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another kind of...
Hi, I'm John Greenhut. As the CEO of PowerSwab's teeth whitening system, I'm always amazed at how white teeth changes people's lives.
I feel confident in my smile. I feel that it's a good-looking smile.
I feel like my teeth are sparkling now, and every time I smile, I want to smile bigger.
The PowerSwab's teeth whitening system is clinically proven to whiten your teeth in 5 minutes. In fact, PowerSwabs whitens teeth on average 2 shades in 5 minutes and 6 shades in 7 days. And it's easy. There's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes, and that's it. Oh, and better yet, unlike normal whiteners, PowerSwabs remove stains from caps, crowns, and veneers. To try PowerSwabs risk-free, call 1-800-668-4138. That's 1-800-668-4138. I guarantee your friends will love your movie star white smile. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-668-4138. That's 1-800-668-4138.
Hey, gang, as you can imagine, living with the moniker America's Mr. Right can be kind of tough at times. But you know what? It's easy to live up to the challenge when you're feeling good. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Lewis, and that's why I watch what I eat and supplement my diet with great products from Youngevity, like their great vitamin mineral complex drink or a protein shake or my favorite probiotic dark chocolate packed with antioxidants. You know, I love these products, and I'll bet you will too. And now you can get them all at jasonlewisteam.com. Now, look, these are just the things I like from Youngevity, but if you're looking for, a sports drink endorsed by an NBA All-Star or a shot of Pollen Burst, the best energy drink on the market, it's all here, too. All you have to do is go to jasonlewisteam.com or call 1-855-310-TEAM. Now, that's 1-855-310-TEAM. 310-TEAM. Get all these products and more and feel like America's Mr. Right. It's JasonLewisTeam.com.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds. Is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com. Spelled INFIDEL BodyArmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit, then carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey Water Filtration Systems. The Berkey Light Systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light System today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at GoBerkey.com. That's GoBerkey.com today.
Scott in Glencoe, you're up next. Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Scott.
Hi. Yes, I'm underwater on my mortgage, and I'm current. And right. I guess I'm getting a little frustrated with all these people trying to get a deal. But at the same time, if I could refinance my home, which they won't allow because I'm underwater, I could save $600 to $800 a month.
Well, you'll never have a better shot at it with these interest rates, but that is an irony. Now, at some point, however, market forces will work. That is to say, if you went to your lenders and said, okay, you don't want me to refinance, I'm walking away, you can have the house, you might get an offer. I'm just saying.
Potentially, but they've got you over a barrel for people who are actually paying and are current, but as soon as you tell them you're underwater, they won't touch you.
Well, I mean, that is true, and that's the irony of all of this. However, I will say this. In some states, some countries, I should say, I want to say Canada and Australia, but they don't have non-recourse loans.
Oh.
That is to say, if you borrow $500,000 for a house and it's underwater, now it's only worth $300,000, you can't walk away from it. You can walk away from it, but you still owe the lenders $500,000.
Oh.
People have no idea what a great deal the American foreclosure system is. That's why I don't shed too many tears. I mean, what other country can you borrow $1 million for an asset, and then when the asset's only worth $500,000, walk away and give it back to the guy that loaned you $1 million?
True. Yes, I understand that. But I can see how people are tempted at walking away when there's no options out there for you on refinancing when you want to refinance.
Well, but this isn't
the entire amount that you still owe.
True, but here's the deal, and I hate to be too harsh, because I would be underwater if I took out a loan for my entire house, but I paid most of it when I bought it. But if you sign on the dotted line to pay somebody for a bicycle or a house, and that value goes down, how does that alter the deal you made? Shouldn't you really still have to pay back what you borrowed?